Okay, everybody, here we are with our next football install to kind of help us out when it comes to our offensive game planning as far as practices. We've reviewed two-back formations. One thing I want to go over is our one-back formations, which you can see here is our 11 and 10 personnel groups. So if you're one of those older youth teams coming in, you can start to group things by 11 and 10. 11 referring to one tight end going to be in there, and 10 personnel referring to no tight ends. So you want to plan it accordingly. So these are all going to be 11 and 10 personnel formations. It's the same way we call things at GK High School. So again, these are all created as you are a first-year wide receiver or skill position player joining our program. And then if you're older, it's stuff that you should already know, but it's always a great review. So one-back formations. If you understand the formation, you understand multiple spots and which letter you are, whether that's Y, S, Z, X, or F, and also H, but those are two-back sets. So we want to make sure that everybody's really familiar on where they're supposed to line up. In our formations, the Y is always going to go to the strength call. So as you'll see right here, and again, all these formations that I bring up are all going to be a right set, so you would just have to flip it. So here's our very first one. It's going to be an ace right formation. It's drawn up as shotgun. It doesn't have to be. The running back would just be behind. But an ace right is going to tell our Y, who is our strength, that he is the tight end to the right. Our Z is going to be off the ball to the right. S and X are going to be backside. You can see the S is off the ball. Quarterback and running back are off the ball, so that gives us our four guys off the line of scrimmage. Ace left, everything would just flip. So again, ace formation, one that we run a high percentage of times. It allows you to get a third receiver into the game and keep a tight end in the game. If you're a team looking at your youth offenses, maybe you don't have a true fullback, and so you got an extra an extra wide receiver of some kind that you want to move around a little bit and put in different spots. You can put them out here. So that's going to be our ace right set, 11 personnel, as you can see at the top. So your play call might say ace right, 35 counter. And then you have your passes out of that in your other run game as well. Our next 11 personnel formation is going to be tray. It's a set. All teams run it. It's a tray set. The S is going to be the one that moves. The Z is going to stay out there on the right. So if you're going from ace to tray, the ace is going to come over, the S is going to come over, split up in between right there. You want to make sure these aren't drawn quite as accurately. Depending on the play, you want that Z to get all the way out to the top of the numbers. S would be splitting, and then that Y is always going to be 3 feet outside the tackle. X is going to be backside by himself. Running back's always going to go to the strength side in shotgun unless you're told otherwise or depending on the play. If it wasn't shotgun and the quarterback's under center, which is really common and really easy to do at the youth league, you can do that. So again, all of our certain plays out of our one-back set are right there. Trips. So it's trips right. Again, everything in this presentation is going to be to the right set, so that means the Y is going to be by himself. Obviously, trips meaning 3. We can see that we have our 3 receivers over there, but in our trip set, our true strength, our Y is going to go to the right, and our 3 receivers are going to the left. The X is always going to be that outside receiver. None of our formations is X ever inside. So that X is always going to be outside, always going to be opposite. They just have to listen to that strength call. Z and S got to plan accordingly. So those are going to be those guys that you really want to think who might have a little bit higher IQ and knowledge of the offense can be that Z and S spot, kind of your quicker, shiftier guys. X is going to be that true outside receiver. Might be a bigger body, might be a little bit more heavy-footed, but it's going to be able to bounce around and be that outside receiver to run different routes and different things. Trump. This is the only formation, okay? Excuse me on that thought. This would be trump right. So our Y is going to be on the right, and then our 3 receivers are going to be on the left. It's similar to a bunch, but now we have our Y is on the right, and the X is going to be the point man. So the X is on the ball. If you've noticed in all the formations, X is always going to be on the ball, and we always have that Y on the ball as well. Z and S are going to be off. Okay, this is drawn as under center, but obviously it can be shotgun as well. You want that initial alignment to be 5 yards, 5 big steps outside the tackle. So it's not a wide bunch or anything. That's why we call it trump. So that tight end is going to be on the right. X is going to line up S and Z, inside foot up, all receivers. Okay, and then you have your plays from there. So that's our trump review. Now we move into our 10 personnel. So if you have a 4th receiver you want to get into the game, maybe it's another running back who's a little shifty and you want to move him out there to an S or a Z spot, But this is going to be our doubles formation. Starts on the right, so this will be doubles right. Our Y and our Z. Again, Y goes to the strength side, so Y is going to bounce outside. Z is inside. S and X on the left. Running back is offset to the right. Our one-back counter play, so our 35-36 counter. Your quarterback runs are going to be really good out of this. You've got your boot and waggle action, and then your quick 90-game pass game. Balances out the formation. That's why doubles is really good. Bunch. Okay, so this would be bunch right. It's not trump right. Trump right, the Y is going to be backside and be by himself. This is going to be bunch right. So the Y, same release as the X, or same alignment as the X. And trump, 5 steps outside the tackle. The Y is going to be on the ball. Good thing to teach this is you need to teach a jam, which means there's going to be a guy on the outside shoulder jamming this Y receiver. So you want somebody who's able to get off of a jam, understand that they're going to get blocked right away. S and Z are going to be offset. X is going to be by himself on the backside. So if this is bunch right, you can see we have our H offset to the right here. Could be under center as well, which I really like, because then you can still do your counters or your quick toss out there. And that's going to be it as far as installs for our youth football league right there, and then going into our middle school and even our high school stuff. These are those basic 11 and 10 personnel plays you want to teach and memorize. Great way to do it is to write them all down. These will be on the channel. Continue to subscribe and see this stuff as it comes out. This is all for you guys to learn and to be able to use as a tool. Let me know of questions of things you want to see. Obviously, we have more formations. We have our empty stuff. We have a couple different wrinkles, but those are things you don't want to do too many things. So these are things, all these basic formations, whether it's 2-back or 1-back, you can run the same plays out of. It just has to change a little tweak. So you can still run counter out of all these formations. You can still run power. If you run power out of 1-back, that just means your quarterback's got to run the ball and your running back's going to be your lead blocker. You still have your pass game out of it, your quick stuff. You can get outside with your toss. So those are all things and questions I'd be happy to answer. This is all for the Eagles program. Continue to like and subscribe, and go Eagles. Let me know any questions coming up.